Okay, today we are going to demonstrate how to wire a 13 amp or 3 amp plug. So, tools required, a star screwdriver and also a flat screwdriver depending on the make and model of your plug. Also recommend a good quality strippers and a snips. Okay, so first thing we do, we get our cable and we strip a certain amount of the outer core. At this particular stage, it don't have to be too exact, just a nice length. We then get our plug, and depending on flat or Phillips, we remove the screw from the middle of the back of the plug, and careful not to lose this screw, and we separate the plug. So now at this stage it's a good idea to loosen all 3 brass screws, making sure we have room for our cables to enter. We then release our clamp. I feel the best way for this is to loosen one side and to totally remove the second screw. Now, carefully removing the second screw and leaving in a safe place for later, we now can move our clamp around out of our way for the moment. Okay, at this time it is good to put our cable in position in our plug with enough white outer core for our clamp, and now placing our cables in their final destination and measuring with our snips and snipping where we need. So we do the brown first, then we do the blue. Again, when measuring, make sure it is going into the nice molding in the screw that won't later interfere with the plug lid. So when we're sure we have it in the right place, again we snip our final length of our cable, and then our third cable, which is our green and yellow, which is the earth, noting the earth is always the top prong of the plug, we put in position and snip. Now we remove our cable, and with our good quality strippers or snips, we take about 10 millimeters of the PVC shield off of the cable, showing the copper. Again, we do this on our earth, and we also do it on our neutral, our blue. Again, about 10 millimeters, just enough that it doesn't interfere with the plug. So it's always good to give the copper a twist, just to keep all copper strands together for full continuity. So now we're ready to enter our cable again into our plug by simply going through into our plug. The easiest one I feel to do first is we put our brown into our position. The brown is always to the fuse because it is our live. Again, we tighten our brown and we give it a good pull, making sure it's tight. Then we take our blue, our neutral. Again, you'll note the neutral is always opposite the earth. So to make it easier, we can push our prong up so we can find our hole in our brass screw, shoving it in, and again tightening the screw and testing. Okay, so that's 2 of our wires in, and then our final one, again, if you push your plug up, you can see it's easier to enter your wire. So we put in our earth wire, which we mentioned earlier is always at the top prong, and again we tighten with enough pressure and test, and again sit in place. So now we have our 3 wires in. We put our three wires into our nice molded slot, not to interfere with the lid going on. We bring around our clamp now for its final tightening. So the best way to do this is if you tighten the screw that is in place tight, and now our screw that we took out earlier, that we left in our safe place, we put into our second clamp. position. Again, we tighten, and both clamp screws now fully tightened and in position. We now get our lid of our plug and we put on, making sure our molds are correct and no wire interfering with our lid. I put our lid on securely, like so, and then the last and final screw to be tightened is the lid cover screw, which is tightened, and now your 13 amp plug is safe and ready to use. Thank you.